Okay, go.
Write this down. Okay, Aleph Gimel.
Um,
Want to
start.
start there? You want to go back? Go
Gimel,
back?
we
All
go
right.
to Gimel Vav.
Okay. Gimel Vav. A shofar that was split in a shofar that was split and glued it together is invalid. If he glued together broken pieces of a shofar, it is invalid. If there is a hole in the shofar and he sealed it, it hinders. And if it hinders the blowing, it is invalid. If not, it is valid. A person blows a shofar into a pit or into a cistern or into a cask. If one heard the sound of the shofar, he has fulfilled his obligation. But if he heard the sound of an echo, he has not fulfilled his obligation. Similarly, if one were passing behind a synagogue or if his house was close to a synagogue and he heard the sound of the shofar or the sound of the reading of the Megillah, if he consecrated, he has fulfilled his obligation. But if not, he has not fulfilled his obligation. Even though both he and someone else listened, this one concentrated, but the other one did not concentrate. Okay. And it came to pass when Moshe raised his hand that Israel prevailed. Was it Moses' hands that won the battle or lost the battle? Rather, the Torah teaches you, as long as Israel looks heavenward and subjected their hearts to their Father in heaven, they would prevail. But when they did not, they would fall. In a similar manner, you learn, make a fiery serpent and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that whoever is bitten will look at it and live. Was it the serpent that killed or the serpent that gave life? Rather, when Israel looked heavenward and subjected their heart to the Father in heaven, they were healed, and when they did not, they perished. A deaf person, an imbecile, and a minor cannot discharge the obligation of the many. This is the general rule. Whoever is not obligated himself in a manner cannot discharge the obligation of the many. Okay.
Okay,
Let me
just
look.
sorry, pause this. Right.
All right. I
All
think
right,
we.
so Perek Dalet, Mishnah Aleph. Yom Tov Shel Rosh Hashanah Shechal
No,
Yos
no, 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 no,
B'Shabbos.
no, no. No, don't we have to go back to Gimel Vav?
No, we haven't done the new ones yet.
Oh, you're right. I tried to take that away from you again. Okay.
Okay. Um, for the first day of Yom Tov, Shechal Yos B'Shabbos. B'Mikdash Hayutokim. So it doesn't matter. The reason why, as we'll see, why we don't blow the shofar on Shabbos is because you might come to carry the shofar in the street. In the Mikdash, we don't have shvus. We don't have concerns like that. They blew the shofar on Shabbos in the Mikdash. Of a Loba Medina, but not outside of in the Medina. And Medina is basically we'll see where what the definition is of Medina.
And the kale and the whole room in the kale, the outside wall before they go
Yeah,
into they are carried in that section also,
yeah,
or right? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Just
All allowed. I mean, this is inside the Mikdash. You're allowed to carry. Um, okay. Um, So, משחרב בית המקדש, הזקין רבן יוחנן בן זכאי, שהוא תוקעין בכל מקום שיש בו בית דין. So, once there was no longer base Hamikdash, so Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai didn't want us to lose the fact that we have a Tekiyas Shofar on Shabbos, but he said only in a place where you've got a proper base din. In other words, like a Sanhedrin of 23.
right.
Um, Amar Rabbi Elazar, lo iskin Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai ela b'Yavne bilvad, and he says that was only restricted to Yavne. That was the place where he moved the base into ten Yavne or Chachamea, give me Yavne and all of its wise men, and we will. And that will be that was his reward from Vespasian. But only according to Rabbi Elazar, it was only in Yavne. Amru lo echad Yavne ve'echad kol makom sheyesh bo beis din. And his colleagues disputed and said, no, anywhere where there was a Sanhedrin, they allowed them to blow shofar in that town because they said you're not concerned that people will carry the shofar in the street because you've got a Sanhedrin. It's a proper authority that will remind people, do not carry your shofar in the street on Shabbos. Okay. But Zos Haisa Yerushalayim Yisera al Yavne. So there was another aspect in which Yerushalayim was stronger than Yavne. Shekol Ir Shehi Ro'a V'Shoma Zukrova V'Yichola Lavot Tokin. So not only Yerushalayim, but everywhere that was in sight. Right? If you had line of sight to Yerushalayim and you could get to Yerushalayim in a day, even there you were allowed to blow shofar on Shabbos. Yavne lo hayu tokin, but Yavne, no, that did not apply. Only by the Beis Din itself could they blow the shofar. Ela bebeis din bilvad. That was the only place was inside the Beis Din itself. Parishana haya halulav nitzal b'mikdash shiva. So this Mishnah actually is verbatim from Sukkah, but it's repeated over here because in context it actually kind of makes sense. So originally the lulav was taken in the mikdash all 7 days, including on Shabbos. Medina Yom Echad, but only one day outside. In other words, on the first day of Yom, because the Torah only gives us the mitzvah of lulav on the first day. Okay, Misha Charav Beis Hamikdash, his ken Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai, Shehelav Nital b'Medina Shiva Zecher LeMikdash. So Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai said, okay, since we can't do it 7 days like we used to do it in the Mikdash, we're going to do it 7 days in the rest of the Medina, even though only the first day is Doraisa. The rest of the and you see that in the halachas of lulav, there are a lot of kulas after the first day. Like if the pitam falls off, you can still use it after the first day. Doesn't have to be shalem. Um, so, so Mishacharev. So once it has been, so now all around the country you can still take lulav for the. We still have to take lulav for the full 7 days of Sukkot. Now that also means v'shehei yom hanef kula asor. By the way, that means the 7 days. In other words, whichever of the 7 days don't fall on Shabbos, because we still don't take lulav on Shabbos outside the Mikdash. V'sheyehei yom hanef kulo asor, and the day of the waving. This is referring now to Pesach. Okay, that's the day of the Korban Omer, right? When you do
Right, right.
so in the original times when you did the Omer in the Mikdash, as soon as they did the Korban Omer on the first day Chol HaMoed, the first night of Chol HaMoed, right? It was they would do it, and immediately everything would become permitted. So when you no longer have a Korban Omer, that whole first day of Chol HaMoed, all of the Chadash is still all of the is still Aser, and then from the next day, all of the grain becomes permitted. Okay,
All right.
now we can go back to Aleph Gimel.
Okay. Um, oh, good. Okay. Well, I put this down. Here we go. For 6 months, the messengers go forth for Nisan, and because of Pesach for Av, because of the fast, for Elul, because of Rosh Hashana, for Tishrei, because of the proper determination of the holidays, for Kislev, because of Chanukah, for Adar, because of Purim, and when the temple was in existence, they went forth also from Iyar because of the minor Pesach. For 2 months, the witnesses may desecrate the Sabbath, the Nisan and the Tishrei, for on them the messengers go forth to Syria, and on them they fix the holy days. And when the temple was in existence, they desecrated even for all of them because of the determination of the time of the sacrifice. Whether the new moon was clearly visible or whether it was not clearly visible, um, they could desecrate the Shabbos because of it. Rabbi Yossi says if it was clearly visible, they could not desecrate Shabbat because of it.
Okay.
All right.
Sukkah.
All right, so tomorrow will be above. Okay, Aleph. Okay, let me just put this in the right place. Where are you? What'd you do? What'd you do to me, buddy? No, you don't do that. I'll beat you up. I'm using this now. You can't use it. I don't care. All right. Aleph Ches. If one roofs his sukkah with spits or bedboards, if the space between them is equal to themselves, he is valid. If one hollowed out a haystack to make a sukkah inside it, it is not a sukkah. If one suspends the walls from above downwards, if there are 3 handbreadths above the ground, it's invalid. And from below upwards, if it reaches a height of 10 tefachim from the ground, it is valid. Rabbi Yossi says, just as from below upwards 10 tefachim suffice, so from above downwards 10 tefachim suffice. If one moved the skak 3 handbreadths away from the walls, it is invalid. A house that was breached and placed on skak over it, if there are a few amos from the wall to the skak, it's invalid. The same applies to a courtyard that is surrounded by a portico, and a large sukkah that they ring with material that we may not use for skak. If there were 4 amos beneath it, it is invalid. Okay.
Okay.
Guys being grouchy over here. Don't growl at me, buddy. Okay. All right. Daled Yud Aleph. One who went out of a Tchum, even 1 cubit may not return. Rav Eliezer says 2 cubits he may return, 3 cubits he may not return. One who is overtaken by darkness outside the Tchum, even 1 cubit may not enter. Rav Shimon says even 15 cubits he may enter, for the surveyors do not give the full measure because of those who err. How does one extend the towns? A house is recessed where a house protrudes, a tower is recessed or a tower protrudes. There are roofs 10 feet high or bridges with mausoleums in which there is a dwelling. They extend the boundary opposite them and they make it a square tablet so that one may gain the corners. We grant the carpets to a town. These are the words of Rav Meir, but come and say they did not say the rule of carpets except between 2 towns. If this one has 70 cubits in a fraction, and that one has 70 cubits in a fraction, a carpet is granted to the two of them to become as one.
Okay.
And it's back home again. Don't growl at me. I'm telling you, buddy. Okay, Baya. Okay. They are, they are trusted concerning Lekach and Paya in the season and concerning Misa and Ani during its entire year. And the son of a Levite is always trusted. They are trusted only concerning things that people are accustomed to give them. But when is everyone permitted to take
No,
Lekach?
no, you're going backwards.
Oh, I did it again. Okay. I just did it on purpose if you're paying attention. Okay.
Well,
they are,
you got me.
they are trusted concerning wheat, but they are not trusted concerning flour or bread. They are trusted concerning the sahara of the rice. They are not trusted concerning it, either raw or cooked. They are trusted concerning beans, but they are not trusted concerning pounded beans, either raw or cooked. They are trusted concerning oil when they say that it is of Misa ani, and they are not trusted when they say it is of nuclear olives. One may not give the proof for the threshing for less than half a cob of wheat and a half cob of barley. The mayor says half a cob and a half of spelt, and a cob of dried figs, or a manna of fig cake. The Akiva says half a log of wine, and Rabbi Akiva says a quarter of it. Rabbi Akiva says 1/8, and the other proof.
Oh, hold on, hold on. We've gone too far. We finished off the Dalid.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
There's
Um,
one cat here that one doesn't like it. Everyone in the
yeah.
same room growl at each other. Oh man. Okay. Okay, we have Caleb and we have dollar base. A barrel that has fraction and cannot be transported with a cap covered with dry figs is tahor. A glycera that is fraction and cannot contain liquids, though it can contain solid foods, is tahor, since there are no remnants and remnants. Which damaged utensils is the glycera? Any utensils whose handles have been removed. If it had protrusions showing out, every protrusion that contained olives transmits tumor via contact, and opposite that area transmits tumor via airspace. And any protrusion that cannot contain olives transmits tumor via contact, but opposite that area does not transmit tumor via airspace. If it was resting on its side, that like a hedera, any protrusion that contained olives transmits tumor via contact, and opposite that area transmits tumor via airspace. Any protrusion that cannot contain olives transmits tumor via contact, but opposite that area does not transmit tumor via airspace. The bottoms of the porcelain utensils and the bottoms of the Sidonian cups, even though they cannot stand without support, are tame, since this is how they were initially made. An earthenware utensil that has three rims. If the inner one is higher, and everything is tahor. If the outer one is higher, everything is tame. If the middle one is higher, then everything from it and inward is tame, but everything from it and outward is tahor. If they were even, Reb Judah says we divide the middle receptacle, but the sages say everything is tahor. From which point do earthenware utensils contract tuma? From when they are fired in the kiln, and this is the completion of the manufacture. And so over here, and now we have
of Basra.
Zion. A man may not open his windows onto a jointly owned courtyard. If he buys a house in another courtyard, he may not open it onto a jointly owned courtyard. If he builds an attic above his house, he may not open it into a jointly owned courtyard. Or if he wishes, he may build a room within his house or build an attic above his house and open it into his house. A man may not open into a jointly owned courtyard, a doorway opposite another doorway, or a window opposite another window. If it was small, he may not enlarge it. If it was one, he may not make it two. However, he may open onto a public domain a doorway opposite another doorway and a window opposite another window. If it was small, he may enlarge it, and if it was one, he may make it two. One may not dig a hole under the public domain, pitches, ditches, or vaults. If Eliezer permits it, if it is strong enough for a wagon loaded with stones to ride over it. One may not extend protrusions or ledges into the public domain. However, if he wishes, he may recess his wall inside his own property and extend them. If he bought a courtyard on which there are protrusions or ledges, they may retain their status. One who sells a house has not sold the annex, even though it opens into it, nor the room which is to the rear of the house, nor the roof when it is prepared 10 breadths high. Reb Huda says if it has a doorway, even if it is not 10 tefachim high, it is not included in the sale. Okay.
Okay,
Good.
yeah, we're done.
Okay, great. All right, now you're gonna have a relaxing day, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Have a great day. I'll see you
You
tomorrow
too.
morning.
Bye.
Bye.